interview of the evening is with the race's frontrunner right now, Andrew Cuomo, the former governor and state attorney general looking to go local and lead New York City. We spoke at the Tudor City Greens on the east side. Mr. Cuomo, good to see you again.
Good to see you. Thank you.
I want to talk about what's playing out in real time right now, and that's the unrest that's playing out in Los Angeles as well as here in New York City, right? ICE agents with these deportations. We see it play out here in New York City with some folks that are trying to go to their immigration court hearings, and here we are as they are under these raids. You just put out a 6-point plan, and I want to read a part of it. It said we must proactively identify public spaces where peaceful protests can occur safely. So as mayor, what do those spaces look like? Where are they?
Yeah, well, first of all, this is classic Trump, right? He started in the campaign saying that he was going to round up all the dangerous criminals who were the immigrants. And now we find out he's just picking people up on the street, people who did nothing wrong, people who are legal citizens. There's all sorts of terrible family stories, families being separated. And he wants to show democratic cities out of control. I have gone through this with him before, and that's what he's trying to say about Los Angeles. He sends in ICE, he makes people outraged, there's civil unrest, they're burning cars, and then on the nightly news you see pictures of Los Angeles and things are on fire, and people say, oh, those democratic cities, those immigrants, they're all dangerous, they're out of control. It's exactly what he wants to show. And Los Angeles, frankly, fell into it. They were provoked by ICE, you had civil unrest, he then has to call in the federal troops because he's the person who is about law and order. I'm saying to New Yorkers, understand what happened in LA because he's going to do it here.
So what do the areas look like?
This is his template. So let's be organized. People are going to protest in New York. He is going to send in ICE. They are going to pick up people illegally. They are going to violate due process. Let's say to the groups that we know who are going to organize, the immigration groups, the legal advocacy groups, let's agree on where we're going to demonstrate. Let's find places, Foley Square, Jacob Javits Convention Center, whatever place you want. Let's pick the place. Let's get it organized now. Let's deploy the police. Let's agree on a code of behavior. Okay. So we're not going to play to type, and we're not going to have these incidents so we don't look like New York City's on fire.
You also said that the NYPD is the largest police force in the country, and unless there are obvious signs of civil unrest, the president will have no justification for calling in federal troops. So do you agree with what took place over the weekend? The NYPD Chief of Department, John Schell, the NYPD, the Deputy Mayor for Public Safety, Kaz Daughtry, met with the president, played golf with him to sway him to not send the National Guard here. Do you agree with that move?
I don't believe he responds to rationale, right? I've gone through this with him where he threatened to send in federal troops. He wants to send in federal troops, right? Let's start with that. Because he wants to say Democrats can't manage the city, it's unruly, it's out of control. So he wants to send in federal troops. There's no playing nice with Donald Trump.
So his deputy mayor shouldn't be meeting with the president playing golf?
You can meet, you can play golf. Don't think that playing golf is going to make a difference in his opinion. You have to show that there is absolutely no need for federal troops. You have the largest police force in the United States of America with the NYPD. If you do it right and you pre-deploy and you organize, there should be no signs that you are out of control, so that he can do exactly what he wants, which is to say, I'm sending in the U.S. Marines.
Okay, I want to talk about the other big story that's playing out in real time, and that's the rise in anti-Semitism. NYPD saying 60% of the hate crimes in the first quarter have targeted Jewish New Yorkers. What do you attribute that to? Is the rise in anti-Semitism in the city a result of the pro-Palestinian anti-war protest movement? Do you look at that as a cause?
Look, you have an increasing fomenting of hate speech in this city. All these demonstrations we see, all these politicians who get up and say, boycott Israel, I would arrest Bibi, Netanyahu, if he came to New York, I would disinvest from Israel, sanction Israel. Hate breeds hate. And it's happening almost on a daily basis now. And the Jewish community is petrified, rightfully so. So don't be shocked when you are feeding the flames of hate and it manifests itself.
The mayor, Eric Adams, just redefined what anti-Semitism is. He signed an executive order, changed the definition. So some of those things that you just said would actually fall into being anti-Semitic. Do you agree with the new executive order?
Look, I passed the strongest hate crimes law in the United States of America. I signed an executive order against what they call BDS, boycott, disinvestment, and sanctions from Israel. I've been a lifelong supporter of Israel. Try this. Try enforcing the law. It is illegal to harass or intimidate a person because of their race, color, creed.
So would you uphold or take back that executive order?
Enforce the law.
Right, but he just changed what the law was. He changed what the definition.
Yes.
So would you repeal that or would you keep it?
Yeah, it's not about the definition of the law. It's not enforcing the law. We have the strongest hate crimes law in the United States. I passed it. Enforce it. They don't want to enforce it because it's politically dicey. This is a politically split issue on Israel. And what do politicians do when there's two sides? They do nothing because they don't want to take a side. You can't do that. On Israel, take a side.
The mayor also just signed this declaration of intent to create this deal, this partnership between New York City and Israel to strengthen the economic ties. He said it would help Jewish communities. Would you keep that going, that council?
I signed so many deals with Israel and so many trade agreements, and I did so many trade missions. We have Cornell Technion on Roosevelt Island.
Right, so that was as governor. So as mayor, would you keep it?
Yes, more trade deals, but that is not going to stop anything, Dan, if you don't enforce the law.
Okay, I want to talk about housing right now. It's a huge issue, especially the topic of affordable housing, right? And you have this plan to build and preserve 500,000 units over the next decade. But there is this housing crisis that's going on right now. And every mayoral candidate says, I have this plan. So if you were to become mayor at the end of a 4-year term, how many apartments and units have been built or shovels are in the ground?
Yeah. If I say I'm going to build 500,000 units, I'm going to build 500,000 units. You're right. Politicians say I have plans. I have a plan for this, I have a plan for this, I have a plan for this. You know what they're worth? Garbage. Put them right in the garbage pail. Politicians with plans. The trick is the ability to actually implement the plan. Building housing is not that hard. I was the nation's housing secretary. I built hundreds of thousands of units. I built much more complex projects. I built LaGuardia Airport. I built JFK Airport, the 2nd Avenue subway. Those things are hard to build. Bridges are hard to build. The circumference of the earth and the curvature of the earth, that's hard. Housing is easy. It's just competence. And we've had incompetent management. We've had a city council that plays politics, that doesn't want to approve anything because there's always some opposition. And we've lacked competent management in city government for many, many years.
I want to talk about safety on the subways. It's a huge deal for so many, and that involves this involuntary removal now from people from the subway. How aggressive would you be in removing people, and where would they go?
During COVID, every homeless person was taken out of every train and every station every night. Think about that. Every homeless person out of every train and every subway station every night. And then you can assess them and get them the help they need. The subways are no place for the homeless. They have no legal right. It's not even humane.
So where should they go?
They should go get the medical treatment that they need or the mental health treatment that they need.
Your predecessor said, Kathy Hochul, Governor Kathy Hochul says, my predecessor for years was shutting down hospitals, eliminating psychiatric beds, replacing them with nothing. Did you take away psychiatric beds, and would you bring them back?
Yeah, that is totally false. We have 3,600 what they call psychiatric beds, which are involuntary institutionalization beds. We have 5,000 community beds. You don't want to create another Willowbrook, right? You don't want to lock hundreds of people into a state hospital. We did that, it was a mistake. You want community-based facilities, and we have a balance of both. There is a vacancy of psychiatric beds. The state commissioner just testified. there's a vacancy of psychiatric beds. So that's not the problem. If you have a person who you want to involuntarily institutionalize tonight, you can do it. You have the state beds. You just have to have the will to do it.
So you'd have a number, but do you have a number of how many there should be?
You have enough psychiatric beds. I propose to build an additional 1,500 community-based beds, but it is a balance between institutionalizing people and getting them the community services.
I want to talk about COVID and nursing home deaths. You've mentioned COVID a few times, centering around this report published in 2020 about the number of deaths and how they were counted. Did you at any point see that report and you yourself make changes to the report?
The report, I did not recall seeing the report at the time. I did see the report, it turns out. The nursing home story was a politicized story.
Did you ever make changes to the report?
I'm sure that if I read the report, I made language changes. But the report was accurate. This has been politicized from day one. The final numbers are in, Dan. And let's just be clear for the record, because a lot of misinformation has been spread.
Yeah.
New York always followed the federal guidance on what to do with nursing homes. From the best federal medical minds available, the guidance changed over time as the federal officials learned more. First it was a 5-day quarantine, then a 9-day quarantine, then a 7-day quarantine. The state and other states followed the federal guidance. When all is said and done, New York State is number 38 in the rate of nursing home deaths. Think about that, 38 out of 50 states. Only 12 states had a lower rate of death than New York. That is extraordinary, considering that we had it first and worse.
Got to leave it there because we're out of time, but I want to ask you, if you do not win the Democratic primary, will you still be on the ballot in November under this Fight and Deliver party?
I'm on the ballot in November, yes.
Okay. Mr. Cuomo, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.